Okay, let's get into it. Multi-level marketing. MLM. Network marketing, referral marketing. Chances are just hearing those words probably brings something to mind for you listening.
Oh, definitely. Maybe an awkward memory,
Yeah,
a sales pitch you couldn't escape.
exactly. Or just that lingering question maybe. Is this a real business opportunity or is it, something else, something to be wary of?
That's usually the first reaction, isn't it? And well, often for good reason. Lots of people connect MLM with maybe those late night ads promising instant wealth.
Or the friend who suddenly won't stop talking about some new health drink or essential oil.
Right. And maybe the term pyramid scheme just popped into your head.
It probably did for many. You might have seen those posts online, the fast cars, the early retirement promises. Makes you wonder, is this actually achievable?
Or maybe you felt that pressure yourself. A relative pushing products at a family gathering, maybe? It can get uncomfortable.
It really can. It can strain relationships. So look, we get it. There's definitely a lot of, let's call it noise, and sometimes negative baggage around MLM.
And it's important to acknowledge that skepticism. It often comes from, well, real experiences, maybe with schemes that weren't legitimate, or just the awkwardness of mixing business with personal life.
But that's precisely why we're doing this deep dive today. We want to try and look past the surface reactions, the immediate assumptions.
And really understand the core business model itself.
Yeah, what is MLM fundamentally? Why does this model even exist? And importantly, can it ever be a legitimate way to do business?
It might surprise some people to know that several really big companies, household names, actually use this structure.
Like who?
Well, think about Amway, Avon, Herbalife. These are established brands, right?
Yeah.
They operate on an MLM framework.
Okay, so let's break down that framework. What's the actual mechanism?
So at its core, you have independent reps,
Yeah.
right? Individuals. They sell products or services directly to people, to consumers.
Okay, direct sales. Got it.
But here's the key MLM part. These reps also earn commissions, not just on what they sell personally, but also on the sales made by the people they recruit into the business. That group is called their downline.
Ah, so that's a multi-level part, the different tiers of earning.
Exactly. Your income isn't just from your own hustle. It's also tied to building and supporting a team of other sellers.
Now, I can see how that structure itself could make people nervous. That's where the pyramid scheme comparison usually comes in, isn't it?
That's a really critical point.
Right.
A lot of the negative reputation, it stems from that confusion, the blurring of lines between a legitimate MLM and an illegal pyramid scheme.
So what is the line? How do you tell the difference?
In a legitimate MLM, the main goal, the primary driver of money, should be selling actual valuable products or services to real customers outside the network.
People who just want the product, not necessarily to join the business.
Precisely. Pyramid schemes, on the other hand, they focus almost entirely on recruitment. The money mainly comes from new people paying fees to join, not from genuine product sales to end consumers.
Okay, so product value and actual customer sales versus just recruitment fees. That's the core distinction.
It's fundamental.
Yeah.
And it explains why some people have had those really negative experiences, likely with operations prioritizing recruitment over value.
Right. If it feels like the only point is to sign up more people, who then have to sign up more people, that's a huge red flag.
Definitely.
Okay, so confusion with pyramid schemes is one big source of negativity. What else contributes to that bad rap? We mentioned the awkwardness with friends and family.
Yeah, that social pressure is a big one. But also the overhyped income claims. That's another major issue.
Ah, yes, the get-rich-quick narrative.
Exactly. You see those flashy posts, the promises of financial freedom, luxury lifestyles.
Yeah.
It sets up these, well, often unrealistic expectations.
Because the reality is, like any business really, success probably takes a lot of work.
It takes significant time, consistent effort, developing actual skills. It's not usually quick or easy. So when the reality doesn't match the hype for most people, it breeds cynicism and skepticism.
Makes sense. And what about the cost of just getting involved? Is it really free to start?
Often, no. That's another point of friction. There might be sign-up fees, sometimes requirements to buy a certain amount of product yourself each month to stay active.
Or pressure to stock up on inventory?
Yes, investing in inventory upfront can be part of it. These financial hurdles, they feel like a risk, especially if the income isn't guaranteed.
So costs, overhyped claims, social pressure, confusion with illegal schemes, And just kind of the general social stigma, right?
Yeah, you can't ignore that.
Yeah.
MLM has become a bit of a punchline in popular culture, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Memes, jokes, and sitcoms.
True. There's this pre-existing judgment that can make people dismiss it out of hand, even if a specific company is legitimate.
So, yeah, lots of reasons for caution, and many are very valid concerns.
Okay. We've laid out the fears, the skepticism pretty clearly. But let's flip the coin now. Let's talk about the potential upside. If an MLM is run properly, ethically, focusing on real products, what are the arguments for it? What are the potential benefits?
Well, thinking about it in the context of starting a business, one major potential advantage is the relatively low barrier to entry.
Lower cost compared to what?
Compared to, say, buying a traditional franchise or opening a physical store or even some complex e-commerce setups, the initial investment needed to become an MLM representative is often much, much lower.
Okay, so potentially more accessible for someone without huge amounts of capital.
Exactly. It can open a door to entrepreneurship for people who might otherwise be priced out.
And then there's the flexibility argument that always comes up. Be your own boss, set your own hours.
And that's a genuine draw for many. The ability to decide when you work, where you work, maybe from home, around family commitments. That control over your schedule is a big plus for a lot of folks.
So accessibility, flexibility, what about skills? Do people actually learn useful things?
I think they can, yes. If you're serious about it, you often have to develop some pretty valuable business skills.
Like what, specifically?
Well, sales, obviously.
Yeah.
You're selling products. Communication is huge.
Ah.
Talking to potential customers, talking to your team members.
Leadership, too, I suppose, if you're building a downline?
Definitely leadership.
Yeah.
Mentoring, motivating, guiding your team. And today, you really need digital marketing skills, right?
Uh-huh.
Social media, maybe building a personal brand online.
Okay, so it's not just about knocking on doors anymore. It's potentially a broader skill set.
It really can be. Sales, communication, leadership, digital strategy. These are transferable skills.
Now, what about that idea of residual income? That sounds very appealing. How does that actually work?
Right. That's often presented as a major benefit.
Yeah.
The idea is leverage. As you build your team, your downline, and they start making sales, you earn a percentage of their sales volume, not just your own. So your income becomes less dependent solely on your direct personal effort.
So it's like earning royalties on the work your team does.
That's a good analogy. Once you've built an active producing network, it can, in theory, continue generating income for you over time, even if your personal sales fluctuate. It's about leveraging the efforts of many.
Okay, that makes sense. What about the community aspect? Sometimes you hear about the strong sense of community or support in MLMs. Is that real?
It can be, yes. Again, in a well-run ethical MLM, there can be a strong emphasis on teamwork, mentorship, training.
So not just competition.
Ideally, no. It can foster a sense of belonging, provide peer support, and often includes a lot of personal development resources and encouragement. For some, that community aspect is a really big draw.
And we should probably circle back to the products themselves.
Absolutely crucial.
Because a legitimate MLM have to be about more than just the business opportunity, right? It needs real products people actually want to buy.
Exactly. The whole model rests on having genuine products or services that meet a real market need. We're talking about companies in all sorts of sectors: wellness, beauty, personal care, household goods, even educational products or tech services.
So real customers buying real things.
If that's happening, if there's genuine value being exchanged, then it's operating much more like a standard business, just with a different distribution and compensation model. That product focus is key to legitimacy.
Okay, so if someone listening is maybe considering an MLM opportunity or just trying to evaluate one they've encountered, what are the key takeaways? What should they really look out for?
I think the most important thing is mindset. Don't look at it as some kind of lottery ticket or a guaranteed path to easy money.
Treat it like a real business.
Exactly. Treat it seriously. That means doing your homework. Research the company thoroughly, its history, its leadership, its reputation.
And the products, presumably.
Definitely the products. Are they high quality? Are they priced competitively? Is there actual customer demand for them outside of the distributor network? Talk to current and former reps if you can.
Good point. And what about the money side?
Understand the compensation plan inside and out. How exactly do you earn money? What are the average earnings? Be very wary of income claims that seem too good to be true. Ask for documented proof, not just anecdotes.
And be realistic about the effort involved.
Absolutely. Understand that building any business takes time, consistent work, and developing skills. It requires strategy, not just enthusiasm. And crucially, focus on ethical conduct. Prioritize genuinely helping customers with the products over just recruiting.
So bottom line, MLM, it's a business model.
Just that, a model. Not inherently good, not inherently bad.
Its success, its reputation. It really comes down to how it's put into practice, doesn't it?
Precisely. It depends on the integrity of the company, the value of the products, the ethics of the distributors, and the realistic efforts of the people involved.
So for you listening, as you think about all this, maybe try to filter out some of the noise, the drama, the bad examples we often hear about.
And consider the core concept.
Yeah. At its heart, MLM, just like starting any venture real estate, freelancing, a traditional small business, it could be a potential way to build something for yourself.
If it's approached correctly.
Right. With honesty, with integrity, and with a genuine focus on providing value to actual customers in the marketplace. That seems to be the recurring theme.
And maybe this discussion prompts a different question for you. What parts of entrepreneurship actually appeal to you? Is it the flexibility, the potential for growth, the community, helping people with a product?
And then thinking about how different business models, including potentially a legitimate MLM, might fit or not fit with those personal goals and values.
Exactly. There are many paths.
Yeah.
Understanding the landscape, the pros and cons of each, like we tried to do today with MLM,
Yeah.
that's always a valuable first step.